As the sun rose over Ahmedabad on that fateful June morning, no one could have predicted the tragedy that was about to unfold. The Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, registration VTNB, stood ready on the tarmac, its sleek silhouette promising a smooth journey to London Gatwick. Both engines lost thrust, their power cut off as if by an invisible hand. The fuel switches, once set firmly to run, now mockingly displayed cut off. 242 souls boarded, their hearts filled with anticipation for the adventures that awaited them across the seas. The pilots, their faces etched with confusion and growing dread, frantically attempted to restore fuel flow. But fate had other plans. The Dreamliner, now a powerless glider, plummeted from the sky, its final resting place, the unsuspecting walls of a medical college building. Of the 242 souls on board, only one emerged from the twisted metal, a British national named Vishwaskar Ramesh. The fuel switches, it seemed, may have been manually flipped by the captain himself. No mechanical faults, no design flaws in the fuel system, they claimed. "It's too soon," they cried, condemning the rush to judgment. Let the investigation run its course. Their pleas for patience fell on deaf ears as the world demanded answers. The integrity of the aircraft was intact. But if not the machine, then who? Or what was to blame? But why? What could drive an experienced pilot to make such a fatal error? Or was there more to this story than met the eye? 19 innocent lives on the ground were also claimed by the falling behemoth. In homes across the globe, candles flickered in remembrance of those who would never return. How could such a catastrophic failure occur in a state-of-the-art aircraft? What safeguards could be implemented to prevent similar incidents in the future? Reporters clamored for interviews, seeking to understand how he had cheated death. But Ramesh, still grappling with the trauma and survivor's guilt, retreated from the public eye, his silence speaking volumes about the weight of his experience. The debate raged in newsrooms, boardrooms, and living rooms alike. The trust between man and machine, once implicit, now felt fragile and uncertain. They analyzed wind patterns, scrutinized maintenance logs, and dissected the aircraft systems piece by piece. Yet for every question answered, two more seemed to arise, keeping the truth frustratingly out of reach. Experts debated the balance between human control and computer assistance, recognizing that both had their strengths and vulnerabilities. And in the quiet corners of airports worldwide, pilots and crew members huddled together, their voices hushed as they pondered the fragility of life and the awesome responsibility they bore. Families prepared for a day of remembrance, their grief still raw, but tempered by the passage of time. A garden was planted near the airport, each flower representing a life cut short. A scholarship fund was established in the names of the students who perished, ensuring that their pursuit of knowledge would continue through others. It would serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of life, the importance of vigilance, and the unbreakable bonds of human compassion in the face of unimaginable loss. They held vigils, shared memories, and fought to ensure that their loved ones would not be forgotten. Their pain became a rallying cry for improved aviation safety measures worldwide. In the United Arab Emirates, South Korea, and across India itself, aviation authorities scrambled to inspect every Boeing 787 fuel switch locking system. The flowers swayed, as if in a silent dance of remembrance, and somewhere in the distance, the faint roar of a jet engine could be heard, a testament to humanity's enduring spirit and the unquenchable desire to reach for the skies, even in the shadow of loss. The market, it seemed, breathed a sigh of relief at the absence of a systemic flaw. But for the families of the 260 lost souls, no financial uptick could ease their pain. An Etihad flight even turned back mid-journey, its passengers' hearts in their throats as the crew performed emergency checks. Flowers and photographs lined the perimeter, a poignant reminder of the lives lost and the dreams unfulfilled. Locals spoke in hushed tones about the day the sky fell, their city forever changed by the tragedy that had unfolded in their midst. In total, 260 people perished that day, leaving a nation in mourning and the world asking why. Aviation authorities around the world redoubled their efforts to enhance safety protocols. Airlines invested in additional training for their crews, focusing on emergency procedures and decision-making under pressure. His survival, a miracle amidst the chaos, would later become a beacon of hope in the darkness that followed. There was Priya, a young doctor flying to London for a conference that would have launched her career, and Ahmed, a grandfather taking his first international flight to surprise his daughter and meet his newborn grandchild. Each tale added another layer of heartbreak to the already devastating loss. At 13:38 IST, the aircraft's engines roared to life, lifting the metal bird into the azure sky. But within seconds, an eerie silence descended, and the skies themselves seemed to weep for the dreams that had been shattered on that sunny June afternoon. In the cockpit, alarms blared as the ram air turbine deployed, a last-ditch effort to provide emergency power. 30 agonizing seconds after takeoff, the dream turned into a nightmare. The aftermath was devastating, but the tragedy didn't end there. As investigators combed through the wreckage, a chilling conversation emerged from the cockpit voice recorder. "Why did you cut off fuel?" The first officer's voice rang out, tinged with panic. The captain's reply, "I did not," echoed with confusion and disbelief. Early findings painted a perplexing picture. Boeing and the FAA were quick to defend their creation. Pilot groups raised their voices in protest. The ripples of this tragedy spread far beyond India's borders. Yet, in a twist that puzzled many, Boeing's shares saw a modest rise of 1.6%. As night fell over Ahmedabad, the city lights twinkled like stars, oblivious to the sorrow that now permeated its streets. The investigation would continue, probing deeper into the mystery of Flight AI71. But for now, a nation mourned, a world watched. In the days that followed, stories of the victims began to emerge, painting portraits of lives cut tragically short. As the world grappled with the tragedy, questions about aviation safety took center stage. The sole survivor, Vishwaskar Ramesh, became an unwitting symbol of resilience. In the cockpit of every flight that took off in the following weeks, pilots found themselves casting wary glances at their fuel switches, a new tension settling into their shoulders. As the investigation delved deeper, experts from around the world pored over every detail of the flight data. The families of the victims, united in their grief, formed support groups and demanded accountability. In Ahmedabad, the crash site became a somber memorial. As weeks turned into months, the initial shock gave way to a determined quest for answers. The incident sparked a global conversation about the relationship between pilots and increasingly automated aircraft systems. In the quiet moments between the public scrutiny and ongoing investigation, those closest to the tragedy found small ways to honor the memory of the lost. As the first anniversary of the crash approached, the world held its breath, waiting for the final report that would hopefully shed light on the cause of the disaster. In the end, the legacy of Flight AI71 would be written not just in the annals of aviation history, but in the hearts of those left behind. As the sun set on another day in Ahmedabad, the city that had witnessed both the takeoff and tragic end of Flight AI171, a gentle breeze rustled through the memorial garden.